Was it on? Was it on?
Oops.
Should we repeat
Let's do
ourselves?
that again. Welcome to the celebrated nightly news of Calaveras County. My name's John.
And I'm Sarah.
And we thank you for joining us tonight on another scintillating and hopefully informative edition of Calaveras County News.
That's right.
And Western Alpine County. Yeah.
Yes.
Some days we have more Western Alpine than others. Probably less tonight than we've had the last couple nights.
Exactly. We've had quite a bit in the last few nights.
Technically, it is our coverage area, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Topping the news tonight, there's a couple pieces. And one of these is we'll have more details on tomorrow. But this is kind of a sad thing.
Sad story.
In some ways, it may actually be good for them business-wise in the long run. Because it frees them up to do more things. But... And it may not be over completely yet, but for the present time, the only new car dealership in Calaveras County is now gone.
Is not a new
dealership, not a new car dealership. 49er Subaru is no longer an official Subaru dealership. And there's a couple contributing factors. One of is our understanding, we're going to get more details on this tomorrow. It's our understanding that the Subaru of America has been pushing them to upgrade their facility. Basically build a new facility. The plans were to do it on a property that runs adjacent to where the new byway is going in.
Exactly.
But we believe that there's been some issues with Caltrans, maybe access, so that it ended up making that parcel not a good choice.
Yes.
And so as it stands right now, and we understand that we're going to get some details, again, like we said, tomorrow on this, but it may actually be good for 49er automotive, I guess,
because
on the long run.
They're still going to
they're going to primarily focus on servicing Subarus. It may also allow them to do what some successful dealerships in other areas, for example, in Amador County, Jeff Holman Automotive has done very well. Is brand agnostic, but late model used stuff. But 49 would focus on 4-wheel drives of all makes. So, in some ways, their business model may actually be better, but could be. But I think it's going to be an adjustment, and also I think in some ways, just as a county pride issue, it's a sad day because there's been a new car dealership there since 1933.
Yeah, it started out as a Chevy
dealership. So that's obviously the top of the news tonight. Is the only new car dealership has turned into a used car dealership.
Exactly.
And
so
we'll have more details. Yeah, we'll talk to them tomorrow morning. But as you've probably noticed something a little different going through Angels Camp. It's been debranded.
And
you'll see the Subaru signs are covered up. So that's kind of a sad thing. That was my top of the...
That was your top of the news?
That was my top of the news.
I am pilfering my news tonight from Dana Nichols over at the Stockton Record. And one story he wrote actually just recently had to do with the moratorium on development. And as we all know, the Board of Supervisors voted not to continue the moratorium on development applications that involved zoning changes.
Right.
And what's happened as a result of that is that the San Francisco law firm of Shute, Mahaley, and Weinberger sent the Calaveras County Board of Supervisors a 9-page letter on behalf of the Sierra Club and the Central Sierra Environmental Resource Center, actually just sort of being informative to the Board of Supervisors that the Calaveras County General Plan is deficient and that the county is legally barred, that's a quote, legally barred from approving any more projects that would take advantage of those deficiencies, such as the lack of a plan to preserve open spaces. And actually, let me get his first name correct. John Buckley, who is the executive director of the Central Sierra Environmental Resource Center, was quoted as saying that in the 18-year history of that particular organization, it has never sued Calaveras County, but he said that that could change. So
more
we'll have
threats
to see.
of litigation.
That's right. That's right. As if Calaveras County doesn't have enough of those by itself. Yes. So that's actually from Dana Nichols.
And another piece back to county is we sat for almost 3.5 hours this morning in a lively meeting, shall we say?
Right. There are quite a few people
on driveway slopes, and this is an issue that does affect. The common thing is it affects just District 3 or it's passed, but this is actually an item that will affect everywhere in the county. So West Point, there's some spots down by Copper, by the lake. So basically what this
Valley Springs
is
area.
But they are a little bit looser if they're below 3,000 feet. But the regs are a little bit looser. But one of the things is this is the driveway slope issue. We first talked about this a couple of weeks ago. And what CAL FIRE, and this is not a new regulation, this goes back to 1992, and there's a regulation that stipulates that driveways cannot be over 16%.
Yeah, 16 to 20%.
16 to 20, and so 16%, and anything over 21%.
That's the grade.
Is completely unacceptable.
Yes.
So you figure 90, 45, half of 45. So you're not looking at a driveway
very
slope.
Steep slope, exactly.
And this issue is, we ostensibly wanted to go there to do some videoing, but I don't think the press was really invited today. I think this was supposed to be one of those meetings
John just said, I'm here.
Yeah, it's like, hey, it's on county government property, it's like, but this was one of those meetings where they had stakeholders to hash out some issues, and hash they did.
Yes.
And I think that, and from CAL FIRE's position, from their side, is they're interested in public safety, and everything else outside of that is peripheral. And from their scope, that's the correct call. And the realtors and the construction side of the economy, they had representatives there because they have a responsibility to their clients.
Yes, they do.
And
because there are a lot of unbuilt lots out there.
Not only that,
who would have to comply with this.
There is no clear ruling now that, let's say you had a home that you purchased that burned down.
Yes.
There, as it stands right now, if there was slope issues on the driveway, it is unclear whether you would get a permit to rebuild it.
Okay.
And this even applies to some homes that were finalized and built this year.
Oh, wow. So they can't move into them.
Well, they can move into them, but there's no.
Can they legally move into them?
Oh yeah, but the essence is most of them. There's a couple.
So there's just no firm footing with it all.
As it is right now. They need to
now.
hash this out, and some estimates. I tried to get a firm estimate on how long this might take. If they can work it out just between the stakeholders and CAL FIRE and county council, they may not have to go get a ruling on it from the Attorney General. But because it is a state code, county codes, they may have to. There's a group now being put together that Doug Shen, several other realtors, Steve Buckley, and are included on that group, and they're ostensibly they need to work out a list of what would be, and somebody from the county as well, of what would be acceptable mitigations.
Yes. For
the county. And so basically, but going on steeper slope driveways, you're going to have to get approval from the local fire chief in any one of the 10 different districts in the county. And here, obviously, Ebbets Pass, EPFD, and Warren Wilkes has taken the lead on that. And he's been very receptive to being able to work out mitigations with people. But this is the issue on Public Works is, from the Public Works side of it now, because they have to approve these, is because they don't believe they have clear legal footing to set parameters. Steve Buckley's, asked some different scenarios on how could you get projects approved now, and the technical answer is yes, you can on steep driveways, but it's going to be really hard until they get the ruling
so
done.
it's Public Works is involved, and then the Community Development Department would be involved as well.
Correct.
Then? Okay,
so
you have two levels
if you
of
build now,
local government involved.
Yeah, if you build now on a driveway that has a slope, you have to get approval by the local fire governing agency. Planning, building has to sign off on it, and Public Works have to sign off on it.
Okay.
And there's different. So they're working up a mitigation list now, and this was the first. Toward the end, everybody started talking and thawing a little bit and started working acceptable ways to work on this issue. But at the first part of the meeting, it was pretty entranced positions. I mean, kind of like you'd see at the beginning of a strike negotiation or something.
Exactly.
It was pretty.
There's no wiggle room.
Yeah, the
no
first half hour of it was a pretty tight.
Yes. But they're going to come back and talk about it again.
Yes. And so I estimate a couple weeks they will be talking about this again, and hopefully they'll have some movement on it. But as it sits right now, and I think some of the things that, and I have no doubt that they'll get worked out. It's some acceptable range, kind of like the septic issue was. But out of this, there will be some lots that become unbuildable. Out of this, there will be a certain number of lots that, because of the way they're configured, if you factor in where a septic would need to be, where other things would need to be. But there's other, last little bit on this and we'll move on, but there's other things too, for example, if you bought a lot that you bought to put your house up on top for the view, that you're going to have these 360-degree views, but you need a steep driveway to get there, it may not happen. You may be able to build on the lot, but you may have to put like off-street parking right off the street, put your house closer to the road, to be able to actually
so they wouldn't approve the driveway, is what they wouldn't approve.
Correct.
Is that what you're saying?
And there's all kinds of scenarios, like what if the driveway was actually the parking in your garage was down by the road, and the 10-foot wide path going up to the house wasn't really a driveway.
Well,
so there's all these scenarios on.
There's legalese.
There's just that is just a 10-foot strolling path, right?
Yes,
and
exactly.
So there was all these different scenarios on what if it's not a driveway,
what
right?
if it's just a pathway?
What if there were stairs?
That happens to be paved.
What if we decided to put in an elevator instead?
That's
right.
Well, there's what do they say? There's always more than one way to skin a cat.
Right, but this does get into property rights issues, because one of these things is, yes, their interest is in public safety, but do property owners have the right to build a house that, knowingly, if they know the risks, their response time on somebody trying to help them there would not be good.
Exactly.
And the odds of them getting acceptable fire coverage in there probably wouldn't be real good either. But should they still be allowed the rights to use their property as they see fit? And that it'll be.
So it'll be interesting to watch this unfold.
Very.
Definitely. And then I have another story.
Great.
From Dana Nichols from the Stockton Record. He went to the study session on Tuesday that the Board of Supervisors was having with their lobbyist group, the Ferguson Group, whom they pay $128,000 a year to lobby for them in Washington, D.C. And a couple of things that came out of it were that the lobbying group recommended that an elected official be one of the people that goes back to Washington, D.C. to help them lobby legislative
so somebody
members.
Builds a personal relationship back there with some of the.
Yes, because what happens is not only does the Ferguson Group lobby, but at certain times during the year, staff members from at the administrative office, like Assistant CAO Francine Osborne and other staff members, go back to Washington, D.C. to work in conjunction with the Ferguson Group to lobby legislative members. And the
would they ever send us back there?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No. We may get a lot done though.
But they probably definitely wouldn't send any money back to Calaveras County.
We know legislative members.
Yeah, but would they want to send money to Calaveras?
They may give us money.
Okay. All
They
right.
could, you don't know.
All right.
But anyway, they said the Ferguson group said it may be more beneficial if an elected official was someone who was also accompanying the staff members back there.
Right.
And also two
kiss the holy ring, so to
exactly,
speak. Yeah.
exactly. 2 issues actually. There were 8 issues. Yeah, exactly. Yes, Senator. Yes. Yeah, like Boxer's going to talk to us. You know, we are a rural county.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway,
she has more people in her garage.
I know than we have in the whole. Yeah. Now Feinstein is a different story.
Yeah.
But anyway, two issues came out as being sort of the top issues on the county's wish list this year, and one of them was a request for $800,000 towards the feasibility study of a proposed flood control project along Cosgrove Creek and Valley Springs.
Right.
The second is $1 million to provide safe walking and bicycle routes for students at Jenny Lind, and there was actually a third one as well. The 3 top ones was a $375 federal contribution toward upgrading the sheriff's department's communication systems.
Huh.
So we'll see.
But doesn't $800,000 for just a study sound like a lot of money?
It does to me, but this is government.
Man, how about $800,000 to actually do something?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
instead of just study it.
That would be something.
Because that was my only.
Can you imagine that actually happening, though?
Because that was my only issue with that broadband meeting they had a couple of weeks ago, right? Because they were looking at they were trying to raise awareness for get funds to study broadband. It's like, we don't need study. We just need
to lay the
more
lines.
of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
Get it done.
it's.
Yes, that's true. So I thank Dana Nichols,
Great.
illustrious reporter for the Stockton Record, for providing those stories.
Also, we happened to stop by the Calaveras Visitors Bureau.
That's right. They had their open
house today. They had great cookies. I had a cup of coffee.
They gave you coffee.
Yeah, cookies and coffee. And we had the chance to talk to Lisa Reynolds. Now, Lisa Reynolds is the executive director, and she does a great job selling the county.
She does.
And she's holding here the copy of the new Calaveras County Visitor's Guide. They came in today, and this year they printed 100,000 of them.
Really?
And we believe it was 12 or 13 pallets.
Wow.
Pallets of...
Wow, there's some storage.
So they got to, they had to figure out, okay, we need a forklift to get them off the truck, to get them into the storage. So they were logistically trying to figure out
how to get that
done.
How
to get them all there. So they have the
Which
new
means
visitors'
they have
guides.
that many people actually requesting the visitors' guides, which is very cool. And had there been a lot of people coming through? Because I saw a lot of cars in the parking lot today. Yes, it was a very busy thing
there, for their open house.
Very nice. Very nice. And you have a deer vehicle collision, don't you, over there?
And this is the one that's kind of a breaking news
don't
one.
you, John?
So if you're watching this at 10 o'clock tonight on the replay, just kind of ignore it.
Yeah.
But CHP is reporting this is, as we went on air, a vehicle collision on Highway 4 at Big Trees State Park. And a vehicle collision. Ambulance is responding. So,
I was actually, where is the one I was talking about?
And also a little. Oh, I think we have pictures of that too. Did they pull in?
Of what?
Oh, last night there was a spaghetti dinner for the people whose
right.
home burned
200
down. 200
spaghetti dinners.
Spaghetti dinners.
That was at the Foothills Restaurant in Murphy's.
Yeah.
And did you get photos for that?
I did. Where is it? Maybe I didn't pull them in yet.
Murphy's Square is having a holiday open house Thursday, December 13th.
Yes, they are. Murphy's Nursery, all the consignment stores. So go in there and buy
4
stuff.
p.m. to 8-ish. So there will be food, raffle, bonfire, a visit from Mr. and Mrs. Claus. So that's something to stop by tomorrow night on Thursday.
We took pictures at the restaurant, and we will post Foothill Restaurant, and we will post them up later. But yes, 200 meals.
200 meals is a lot.
That should really help the family out for this Christmas.
Exactly.
So that is really a nice thing.
Actually, the non-injury vehicle accident I was talking about, it was a non-injury vehicle versus deer collision this morning. It was on Highway 49 and Gold Strike Road.
Sorry.
So, 2 accidents today. And
also, one of the things is we first posted on the site a couple of weeks ago is the Leadership Calaveras is a group that is sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce, and basically it's a group of basically county leaders. So it's not, you think of Leadership Calaveras class, you may think it's a bunch of young kids trying to, but that's not what this class is. This is basically
like adult people.
Yeah, this is members of the community that are looking at studying a specific problem and crafting solutions for it. And the project last year for this group was the jail, and it was their work that was the impetus for driving forwards, for driving that whole issue forward. They did some great work on the jail issue.
Yes.
And this year, Leadership Calaveras County is tackling broadband, and they're trying to promote additional broadband usage in the county, different ways, problem solving on the broadband issue. And there are some questionnaires that they would like for you to fill out and fax back to Suki Tuthill. And they are a business survey if you're a business owner, if you're a residential user, or if you're a visitor to the county, of what things would you like to see regarding broadband access and internet access for Calaveras County.
Okay.
All right, so they're right there.
So
print them,
that's
fax them back, or email them
They're looking for input.
to Suki Tuthill, and they're going to be tabulating your responses.
Ooh,
Tabulating and tabulating.
very nice. And last night, the Calaveras Republican Committee hosted a festive, nonpartisan holiday dinner.
It was a nonpartisan.
And that was at the Met in San Andreas, and apparently over 80 people attended. And you can tell it's nonpartisan because Supervisors Tom Tryon and Marita Callaway were there.
We're all there.
We're all there. As were actually Dana Jorgensen from Senator Dave Cox's office. And let's see, Bob Phelan, representing Assemblymember Tom Berryhill, Bob Dorr, representing Congressman Dan Lundgren, and Administrative Assistant Bill Cordoza, representing Bill Leonard, who is a member of the State Board of Equalization. So, apparently Cuneo cooked again. Let me see this. Dead air. Don Cuneo.
He was the cook?
Was the cook. And he does, have you ever tasted any of his, he's very good. Very good.
All
yes,
right.
So, nonpartisan event for the Calaveras County Republicans.
And on hard-hitting, scintillating news,
yes,
last night the winner of Turkey Talk was announced. Now, if you're new to this contest, there has been lots of activity on our site coming up with a name for the turkey who has taken up residence in the Big Trees shopping center in Arnold. And it's been known to hang out in front of Bistro Espresso and panhandle for food and donuts and coffee, espresso. So if you've ever seen a turkey on espresso, they're really, Now, there was a lot of names bandied about. And I think Larry Geiger, the owner of Bistro Espresso, since he was going to be providing the gift certificate for this winner and the naming, we thought he should be able to pick
to be
the
the
winner,
one who
right?
chooses. Yes.
And he chose Cranberry.
I think that's a
And that's
nice
kind
name.
of a sweet name because the turkey is a female.
That's right.
So there was there were other names like Java Jenny, Bistro Betty. There's all kinds of different names for this turkey, but
Cranberry is a good name.
Cranberry. So Cranberry is the name.
I wonder if the turkey gets cold. If Cranberry gets cold out there.
I don't know.
Oh.
She was running pretty good to try to escape our cameras a couple of days ago. Yeah. Get out of the way! It's some crazed guy trying to take pictures of me.
Exactly. Oh no.
And somebody asked me when I went into a store last night if we got a release from the turkey because we were using.
Really?
Yeah, I
Its
want to know
image.
if we got a release. And one last little bit in Alpine County news is now Murphy's has Buggy Bill. So if you want to take that romantic ride,
yes, Lake Alpine.
Bear Valley has, or Lake Alpine area has,
a snowcat.
the Lake Alpine Resort Snowcat.
Yes.
Now this is your taxi because Lake Alpine Lodge now is open year-round this year. So I actually think this is pretty cool. I think this is going to be one of those things that everybody in the area should at least once a year take the romantic ride back in over the snow-covered roads and have dinner at the lodge.
That's right.
Overlook the frozen lake.
Or stay the night because cabins are available.
Yep. So there is, instead of Buggy Build, this is the Bear Valley Lake Alpine area equivalent of a romantic horse-drawn carriage, right?
Yes. It's probably a lot warmer too.
The Lake Alpine Snowcat.
That's right. That's right. And we should go to
weather.
We should
go to weather, yes.
We should go to weather. Arnold weather, Thursday, mostly sunny with a high of 45 degrees. Thursday night, 37 degrees. Friday, mostly sunny with a high of 47. And Friday night, 35. Saturday, 45. And Saturday night, low of 33.
Bear Valley, partly cloudy with a low of 23 tonight, a high of 36 tomorrow. 40 on Friday, low of 23 Friday night. 21 tomorrow night for the low. 23, 36, and 23. Partly cloudy up there. Looks like the next real wave of precipitation will come in the first of the week. So it looks like the storm, that will be the next round of precipitation. And they do open back up for the season tomorrow.
Yes, Thursday.
For the season.
Murphy's weather, Thursday, mostly sunny with a high of 55 degrees. Thursday night, low of 33. Friday, 56 degrees. Friday night, 34. And Saturday, 55 with a low of 31 degrees.
For our friends at Angels Camp, partly cloudy with a low of 36 tonight, 53 tomorrow, 34, 54, 36, 54, 33, 52, and 34.
Wow.
Those are your temperature ranges for the next few days.
That's right. That's right. In Copperopolis, Thursday, 54 and 32. Friday, 54 and 31. And Saturday, 54 and 31.
And for our friends in Bangor, Maine, there has been a warming trend of late.
Wow. Is it
38 degrees and snowing, and with a low of 7 tonight, and a low of 21 and 14 is the highs and lows for tomorrow, 25 and 9, and 22 and 11. But earlier, the projected low for a couple days ago, the projected low for tonight, I think, was as low as 2, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
2. So
yes.
It's been a warming trend of 5 degrees.
Yes, actually, which is kind of it makes
balmy.
A difference. It makes a difference.
I mean, between 2 and 7, even if it's only psychological, right?
Yes, I would think so. I would think so. Valley Springs, Thursday, 53 degrees, 32 low. Friday, 54 degrees with a low of 34, and Saturday, 54 degrees with a low of 30 degrees.
And we thank you for stopping by. We really appreciate it. We hope you have a good evening, and you're hoping you're getting all revved up in your holiday season. And we will see you back here tomorrow night to tell you what to do.
That's right. That's what we'll
Thursday
do.
night. You don't have to worry about thinking about anything for the weekend because
Absolutely not.
We'll tell you.
We'll do the thinking for you, if you can call it that.
Yes.
Yes. Good night.
Good night.